Hello everybody and welcome back to another round of Modern Melee. In the booth, Ginkgo and Rocco, the proprietor of Red Viper Games.
Hello guys, thank you for having me once again. Ginkgo, what do we have here today?
Today we have Scam on your left versus an interesting one, Grixis Control on your right. Now, in this day and age, what would make you play Grixis Control?
Basically, your soul will to brew. There is really no reason to go and control. I think you should, if you want to win the game, you should probably play Death Shadow versions, which are, more of an aggro control kind of shell. This shell plays Ragavan and Dragon Ray Channeler on the 1-drops, and the other winning conditions are Snapcaster Mages and Brazen Borrowers. Everything else is control-ish, and card advantage is being utilized by Call Against Command 3 pieces.
Oh, nice. So this is a combination of Blast from the Past together with some new additions, as you said, DRC and Ragavan, being the premier 1-drops in the format. Now, I do believe that Grixis Control does have its merits, especially over something like Death Shadow, because your life total is a resource in this case. Now, in the case of this matchup, one Death Shadow would already be active because we see Fury on the other side scammed into play on turn 1, being just a 4/4 double striker.
That is enough. Very ballsy move from the other side. Grixis being usually a type of deck that has so many removal, and just to play a 4/4 Fury, which can be answered by so many things, it's a very cocky move, I think.
Yeah, but on the other hand, yes, this is the problem-ish card. We have cards that will, for 1 black mana, save this Fury if it ever gets targeted by something meaningful, meaning when it goes to the graveyard, it will probably have Undying or some other effect and come back. Now, this is also a card disadvantage for the opponent, as we see just a plain old Terminate being played here to prevent 8 damage if the opponent has the namesake cards. But if it doesn't, then the problem is solved.
The problem is solved. How good is Terminate right now in the format?
I would say it is excellent.
Excellent. It removes everything, and the threats in the format are so diverse. You really want to answer both the Ragavans and the Murktide regions and the 6/6 Furies.
Yeah.
God knows what else.
And not only that, but you also want to... the metagame has come to a point where there is so much creatures being played that just dodge all of the removals that are not white, because white gets the best removals. But outside of white, we have Murktide regions that can be 7/7. They cannot be Fatal Push, they cannot be Lightning Bolted, they cannot be Unholy Heated. They are already 2-for-1s. We have something like, for example, Affinity, which does not care for your removal. It will just go either over the top or wide or tall. We also have something like Saga tokens or whichever ones, and they will also be 2-for-1s. So either a 2-for-1 in either direction, or just a straight up unkillable, in quotes, creature in this kind of metagame. Now, as we say unkillable, we see 2 lightning bolts trying to get this Fury done. And
giving all they could.
Yeah, this is a 3rd scam card. This one is Malaki Rebirth. Lose 2 life, save your creature. But this was already a 2-for-1. And
it's now lightning boltable, actually.
Hey, it is, but how many lightning bolts are already in the graveyard?
One too many.
Yeah. So, point being that stuff that just plain outright kills a creature is underappreciated in today's metagame. And circling back to being Grixis, I do believe that it has a lot of merits. On one side, it has cards like just plain outright kill a creature. And on the other side, Kolaghan's command can buy your win conditions or pesky 1-drops back, kill an artifact, which are extremely prevalent in today's.
It's a must, really.
Yes.
I just want to say that this Grixis control is arguably the best control if you know you're not going to have a graveyard hate against you. If you are so much exposed to the graveyard hate, but if they don't have it, you can do so many things. Like I saw some control shells where the guys are just playing, Furies and Subtleties in the main deck, and they're just turn 1 Furies, turn 1 Subtleties, bring it back with Kolaghan's command. You have so many good targets for the Kolaghan command to put back the creature in your hand. It's ridiculous. But if they have a rest in peace in your hand, like every card in your hand, every card in your deck is 50% worse. You can't do Fury with an Evoke. You can't Snapcaster anything. You can't Kolaghan command return a card. There's not much you can do, really.
We say that a lot about the graveyard being a major resource in modern's metagame, be it just, something like a scam does not function without a graveyard.
Yes.
Something like control does not function without a graveyard. Something like food or whichever archetype, there is always Murktide, for example, does not function without a graveyard, or functions much worse.
Yeah. But that's why, for example, blue-white control. They're not exposed to graveyard at all. I mean, they don't even play Snapcaster mages.
Yeah.
They're just playing like, I'm going to pay a bunch of... They're not even scamming with an ephemerate. They're just plain old, for 2 mana, I'm going to counter your spell. For 3 mana, I'm going to draw 2 cards. Yeah, sure, they have Solaces and everything else, but that's why they're ahead of their own time, because how can you hate blue-white control?
You can... that's
your
your
goblin guide.
That's your preference, hating or not hating blue-white control.
No,
I know what you meant.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, exactly. Blue-white control does not have a horrible matchup. Horrible matchups for blue-white control are big mana decks.
Yeah.
They can go just over the top. They do not care about
like Tron.
Yeah, like Tron. But Tron is on the extreme decline, and. Apart from Tron and some other, like Titan also does not care because it has a Malakut out, and just one of their creatures will wreak havoc.
Yeah, but if you give them time, those decks, if you give them time, they will kill you.
Yes, but Graveyard being an important role in this matchup for both sides is something to definitely count upon games 2 and 3 if the game 3 will be here. Now, on one side, we see a lonely Dragon Rage's Channeler. On the other side, we see wannabe Kiki-Jiki trying to be played. 2 cards discarded. Will they be discarded?
Well,
yes. One card.
Only one. Probably the other
Thoughtseize. I do believe I see some scammable creatures.
Let's read the Fable.
Yes.
So much text.
The Fable is just so innocuous, but so good.
Can you believe that this card entered into the modern format? Like, under disguise. It was like a 50-cent card. And
unfortunately.
Almost $20, $30. Everybody looked at this card and they said, this is too bad for modern. And now
it's being played in Legacy.
Now, who's the idiot now?
Probably me for not picking it up.
Yeah, me also. Shame.
So this match is taking its time there. The players are considering options. I do believe that the Scam player is stuck on 3 lands, and they have how is the black evoke creature called?
Griff? Black evoke?
Grief.
Grief.
Yes.
Yeah,
Grief. They do believe I do believe they have 2 Griefs in their hand.
Do you favor in this matchup Griff or Fury? I obviously it depends on the board, but in a vacuum, what do you want to see in your hand?
From which side?
From the Scam side?
From the Scam side. Ooh.
Against the Grixis control, you probably want Griff.
Grief, yes. Definitely Grief, because it will be probably a 3 for 1. Or 3 for 2, let's say.
3 for 2, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's on turn 1.
And it's on turn 1. So you have a 4/3 menacing attacker, which will probably get in for twice. So 8 damage. You also have your 2 Thoughtseizes, which will strip the relevant cards in the first several turns of the game from the other side. And then, if they ever find a removal or 2 creatures to block the Grief, then you just scam it again.
Yeah. The scams are really those combat tricks are venturing into Modern slowly but steadily. Like, who would have thought that, like, for 1 mana, Save My Creature would be played 5 years ago?
And this is always something to emphasize. On one hand, we have combat tricks being usually bad because they are extremely situational. But if you have a high density of creatures that want those cards, something like this scam deck, you are golden. On the other hand, if you have a good enough 1 mana spell, it can be played in any format.
Yeah.
And just by the virtue of being 1 mana, you have a playability for almost every card.
Yeah.
You can find a corner case scenario where the card could be good. And we see another scam card saving the Kiki-Jiki.
This is a cool move, yeah.
Yeah. The Kiki-Jiki, being a creature, can be saved by something like Feign Death or whichever Malaki Rebirth. It goes to the graveyard, it comes back, but it can come back only as a front phase.
Side, yeah.
Yes, so it will always come back as an enchantment. But this, I believe, in this case, is an upside. Because you get a 2/2 that can produce treasures. You also get a second loot. And the third chapter, well, it is a plus whenever you have an active Kiki-Jiki. So
Ragavan is being dashed. That's
we
a lot
see
of
3 creatures from the control side. Who is the control now? Bashing in Ragavan, DRC, and Snapcaster Mage, as Richard Garfield intended. All of those creatures just bashing in. And was the Ragavan dashed?
Probably.
Yeah, so
it's just waiting for it to be back in hand.
Yes.
There we go.
Second chapter. So the life totals not indicative of who is winning, but we have 6 on both sides, so close to the devil, I suppose.
Who is the favorite in this matchup when you think about it? Considering that you know approximately the deck list for the Grixis control, which is kind of like a lazy aggro control without Dead Shadow, basically.
I would say that the control is favored only because it has so many tools that kill a creature outright. And it can afford to have its...
sorry for interruption. This is a creeping target moment. Like, I didn't know this card exists. Nobody's playing this card.
Creeping target just ends the game because it is unblockable and the DRC flies. So... that is game 1, extremely interesting game going to the control side. But back to the question, I believe that the Grixis control is favored just because it can afford to have its plays Thoughtseize on turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, and still play the game, even with a 4/4 double striking Fury on the battlefield from turn 1.
Fury is the best creature you can have on this battlefield, probably. Due to having like double strike, it will kill everybody in blocks. Especially it's a 4/4. And scamming those creatures back, it's
delightful.
It's delightful. Depends on who, though. Like, what cards you don't like, what cards you like in this matchup for this scam. Like, you obviously want more card advantage.
For scam, you either want more card advantage or you want to hold them back in your tracks. Let's say something that will go over the top. You said that your graveyard is extremely important. So something like the red-black saga that escapes me right now.
Is it like Hidetsugu
Consumes All? That's right. Which,
that one escapes everybody.
Yes. Thank you for the pun.
It's so hard to pronounce Hidetsugu, Hidekazu. I don't know.
Hidetsugu. But it can just mop everybody's graveyard, and it is a scalable 3/3 at the end. It will probably also kill at least 1 or 2 permanents from the other side because it exiles all the 1-drops from everything. You as a scam player I don't believe you play any 1-drops besides Ragavans, and they are expendable.
Do you want to play Ragavan on either side if you're on the draw?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I do believe yes.
Yes?
And I will explain my case.
Sure.
From both sides, you can have a case where your Ragavan will dash in the late game, get in for 2 points of damage, which are minuscule. Get yourself a treasure and get a relevant card from the other side.
Yeah.
Because this will be a grindy matchup. And there will be a lot. Oh, hello.
Hey, friend.
There will be a lot of kill spells pointed at creatures from both sides. This means that one creature will probably break parity at one point. And Ragavan is great at breaking parities just by virtue of being a card advantage engine in a deck, in a matchup actually, where the decks are similar or play similar colors. So I can imagine just a scenario where everybody is like low on resources. There is a useless Thoughtseize in one hand and a dashing Ragavan in the other. A player dashes Ragavan and just opens up, let's say, a Fury. Or opens up...
It could be a Thoughteize. Why not? It's only 1 mana. The treasure being created for the 1 mana.
And both of them... And both of them play 2 out of 3 colors that are relevant in this situation. And
the treasure just gives you all the mana.
The treasure gives you the third one. It is always interesting between a matchup that has no colors associated between them, for example, Scam versus Blue-White Control or whatever, because then you have the case of, okay, I flip their Teferi, Time Reveler, but I have only 1 treasure, so it is a kind of a waste. Still not a waste, but extremely good card. So
you keep all 4 of them?
Depends. No, really depends on the composition of your sideboard. If you think that you have enough sideboard cards and all of your cards are better, then I would trim Ragavans. But honestly, I would start by trimming on the scam cards. Not maybe something that is... prudent, but definitely those cards do not do anything on themselves. That being said, you do have the reflection of Kiki-Jiki or the enchantment version that can just loot them away. We see a Ragavan turn 1.
That's what I wanted to say. We see a turn 1 Ragavan.
And probably
turn 1 Unholy Heat. Yeah, that's how it goes usually.
Yeah, but
95% of the time.
This is something that you have to respect. On the one hand, on the other hand, you have to respect a 4/4 Fury on turn 1.
No, another Ragavan. Let's
Interesting. This is not a dashed Ragavan. So either
he might be saved or scammed.
Or just fear from the other side of getting, another creature on the board, and or just lack of lands also, if the scam player did not crack a fetch. This is also something... Brazen Borrower.
It works. It's mad, but it works.
If you just need to buy some time, definitely works. And
I like Brazen Borrow. It does great. So many things.
It's great. And we see this was a time walk because no land was played. Ragavan just at the same thing.
Being recast
for 1 mana. And the Grixis player can just develop their mana-based lands and kill spells. And get on with their game plan.
You know what is an underplayed card for my own personal taste? You know the cycle with Brazen Borrow had a black, how do you call it, competitor for that slot. With an adventure, destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life, and then the other side was 3 mana, 2/3 death touch.
This is
like a zombie knight. I don't know how you call it.
Yeah.
That one is, I think that's an underplayed card. That also does so many things.
The problem being that definitely, so 3 mana, destroy anything at instant speed, you get an adventure, but the problem is that you want to play this in your control.
Yeah.
And it does have lifelink, but you lose 2 life by playing the adventure side.
Mm-hmm.
In your control deck, do you really want to lose life against an aggro deck?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably. And 3 mana is such a big investment. Well,
Yeah.
Dreadbore costs 2, but here we see a Fury being scammed, not being scammed, but being invoked
Evoke
on the control side.
pitching a DRC question mark?
Yeah, probably because he doesn't have the answer to the Ragavan.
So 4 damage here.
Ragavan must be answered.
Yeah, will we see a scam card? Yes. So save the Ragavan, get him a +1/+1 counter, and escape the clutches of Fury. And this was a 2-for-1. Interesting from the Grixis side. This was a 2-for-1 almost twice now. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, but I do not know what is in their hand and if they just wanted to, bait out something because they have,
Yeah, that's the play. That's how they get you.
Yeah. Colagan's commands to bring it back. They had the Ragavan covered. Just like, nah, I got you, fam. Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, this one is also like, there was a cycle of card. This card does so much.
Yeah. It is really innocuous, but it is half of the Rest in Peace on a 3/2 with a lot of upside.
Too much upside.
So,
and the best part about this is that it exiles with the Void counter, and then the next Dauthi Voidwalker can replay the previous Walker cards. And here we see a Nile Spellbomb. This is what you want to have in this matchup. On both sides.
On both sides, actually, yes. And the Fury just being in hand, waiting for the 5th mana to play it, as intended, and just 5 mana, deal 4 damage. No Evoke, no Dauthi Voidwalker and the Void counters on it, and we continue with the game plan. Now, this is an extremely interesting position for the Scam player because he knows there is Fury looming in the hand of the Grixis control.
He cannot devote the board too much, probably. But he did receive a 3rd land. So
he did receive a 3rd land, and this is a 2/2 that is being created. And if there is a 5th land, all of those 2/2s and 2/3s will be just mopped up by the Fury. But it's
a good trade, I believe. Fury was probably being killed. This is an attrition matchup. Like, you do want to have so many 2-for-1s as much as possible.
Yeah, this you definitely do want to develop regardless of the cost. And the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is definitely something to develop and look towards too. Because in the end, it will draw you several cards. It will flip into Kiki-Jiki, and it can be just merciless engine with something like Grief and Fury and something just to copy or scam creatures and attack.
Is Fable the best card you want to have in this matchup?
No. It's slow. It's extremely good, but it
does so many things.
It does.
Maybe Season Pyromancer? What is it?
I do not know. It's very contextual. Probably.
Grief, maybe.
No, I would say Snapcaster Mage from the
from the scam side.
Oh, Dauthi Voidwalker turn 2. Or turn 1.
Yeah, that would probably be it.
So
unanswered Dauthi. But this is the thing, like, you cannot answer a Fable once it's being on the table for the Grixis side, I
mean, the only way you could answer it, like, 1-for-1 is something like Colagan's command. And they do have those 2-for-1s that are extremely balanced between, a late game and just emergency eject button.
Eject button.
Yeah. This is a good one.
Better than all.
No,
maybe not.
Wrong land.
No,
yes,
yeah, still doing it.
Jace the Mind Sculptor just coming in and bouncing the Dauthi Voidwalker. No void counters for you. I will probably be brainstorming for the next until you kill it. And this is a giant problem for the scam side.
Yeah, Jace was in, still is. Better than all. Maybe not, but...
No, definitely not. But
that was a long time ago.
It is definitely extremely good still on an empty board.
Yeah.
And it can help you get to the empty board by bouncing. And we see a replay Dauthi Voidwalker now with reflections of Kiki-Jiki. A little bit harsher, the board.
Mm-hmm.
You do not probably want to bounce anything now. You want to brainstorm, and there is a kill spell. There is another blue card. You can put your lands back probably and just mop up. Oh, this was a Snapcaster Mage. I do believe I see also there is a Kolaghan's Command in the graveyard, so this is just
Dauthi is the problem.
Yeah.
Dauthi needs to be answered. Now, I see maybe I don't see into the future, but maybe I see a Dreadbore Snapcast Dreadbore.
Yeah, this can definitely work.
Maybe wrong.
Yeah. Dreadbore Snapcaster Dreadbore, and then get your Snapcaster killed or something like it. Bring it back with Kolaghan's Command.
That's how it works.
How it works. How it has been working since 2017.
Yeah.
And it's still good. Albeit a little slow, but extremely resilient.
In this type of matchup, speed doesn't probably matter.
Yeah, definitely.
Patrick Chapin, who implemented the Snapcaster Mage, I'm going to bring it back with the Kolaghan's Command. I'm going to recast the Kolaghan's Command, bring back the Snapcaster Mage.
So, Dreadbore. Yeah. What is the... So, okay.
What is the target?
The target is Dauthi Voidwalker first. Because if you do not target Dauthi Voidwalker, it will get exiled.
Scamming this. Oh, we'll see.
Now we have a decision. Do we play the Snapcaster Mage but there is the Nile Spellbomb that can be cracked in response.
Yeah, but probably the player doesn't see that. This Nile Spellbomb was here since the beginning of time.
Yeah, so
everybody just kind of forgot about it.
This is a 2-for-1. This is still okay, but the Nile Spellbomb could have been just cashed in, prevented the return of the Dauthi Voidwalker, and have
probably won the game too.
Better board. Far-fetched maybe, but definitely something to consider. Definitely, yeah. Now, just a swamp being fetched from the other side. How would I say it? Good thing if you are the scam player is that your reflection of Kiki-Jiki now is not summoning sick anymore.
Yeah, and you can do
dirty things. And
the Griff. I think a Griff is being pulled on the scam side.
Fatal pushing on the Snapcaster Mage. Jace takes 2 damage. It wasn't to loyalty because -1 for the bounce and 0 for the brainstorm. There, I do believe 2 lands on the top of the Grixis controller's library. One of them will shuffle, probably the other. Grief gets deployed just as a 3-2 menace beater. Now we cracked the fetch, the spell bomb.
Too late, too little, too late.
Not only this, but he knew there were 2 lands. Maybe get 1 land, shuffle the other, then crack. You have a better chance of pulling a relevant card.
This is a point of no return. Probably.
This is a lock.
Yeah.
Because each card they draw in their draw step, the reflection can just make a Grief, look at their hand, see if there is anything relevant, strip it off, free Thoughtseize every turn in your draw step. I do believe this is unbeatable.
Yeah. This is how the lock works, essentially.
And this is also an extremely good side of the scam deck that is underutilized, but in the late game you can just have this lock and see, okay, there is nothing here, take your 3 damage, Brazen Borrower cannot block ground creatures, and this is just an untap. Probably you can play it safe and have one turn, give the Grixis player 1 turn to draw something relevant, strip it off with your Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and then just close the game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll probably go to game 3 really fast.
Really fast.
Probably after this turn. Yep.
So 3 damage there, still cannot block. There was no Thoughtseize in your in the end step of the Grixis player.
It will be now.
On the end step, there will be a counter spell. The token stays because it was made in the end step, and this is game 1-1.
It's the suspense is killing me.
It is tied. This is a great matchup. A little bit slow, but this is only because those decks can both go fast and slow, and they are built in the sideboard. They're built to just go over the top of each other. Now, we have seen this from the Grixis side by something like Creeping Tar Pit, something like Colagan's Command, bringing back Snapcaster Mages, and from the Scam side, we have seen the lock.
Yeah.
Oh, and
when it works, it works.
Blood Moons being deployed from the sideboard. Maybe some consideration between draw and play from both players.
I believe the control side is putting back the Ragavans. Might be wrong. Putting back because it's on the play.
Don't you want putting back from the sideboard into
from the
main
sideboard back into the main deck because they're now on the play. I mean, I think that Nile Spellbound moment was too devastating.
Yeah, if they just saw the Nile Spellbomb play and cracked it in response to the return of the Dauthi Voidwalker, they would have also the Snapcaster Mage. For future reference, probably killed all of the board and have it all in the tank for the next turn.
Do you like Unlicensed Hearst?
In this matchup, yes. This is a pseudo haster for both sides. It is a great beater. It cleans your graveyard. It prevents scam from working. Another question is, do you like counter spells in this matchup from the Grixis side?
Oh, probably. Maybe. That's a good question. My answer is probably yes, because you can flash it back with the Snapcaster Mage, and then you just kind of generate. You need spells to flash back with the Snapcaster.
That's true, but is it too slow?
On the play, probably not.
On the play, probably not. On the draw, we will see. Yeah, so this is a play versus draw probably situation. You do want your counter spells, but something like a Grief scammed into play gets under your counter spells, and they're probably rendered useless until the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, what are the chances of having a Grief and a Scam card? Probably like 35%, which is a lot.
So this is one in three chances,
and that's not a chance you want to have.
I mean, there are 8 Scam creatures, and probably something like 8 or so Scam cards between 1 or 2 copies of Malakir Rebirth, Undying Evil, Undying Malice, whichever you prefer. Yeah, strikes your fancy. But all of them have a different flavor for just get your creature back from the dead if it died this turn. So 8 creatures over 60. I'm not Rosmerium and I cannot do the math on the fly.
I think it's about 35%. I think like the chances of having one of the playset cards in your hand is what, 39%?
No idea.
Yeah, I think it's 39, and the rest of you have to compound the other side of having a scam effect, which is huge.
Yeah.
I think it's about what, if you have 8 cards, it's like 80% or something.
This is a hypergeometric calculator that we are definitely not equipped to.
We are not competent. I am not your financial advisor.
Neither your magic
No, I'm
advisor.
not your magic advisor as well. Well, do we see a keep here or not? Let's see. Let's find out.
Let's see. This
I see a Lightning Bolt. I see a Brazen Borrower. I see a Nile Spellbomb, which might not be activated again.
And a Consider.
Is that a counter spell, maybe?
Yeah.
And a Consider, probably.
This is a one-lander from the control side. Do you keep or ship?
Well, I think I would, on the play, I would keep it by having a Consider in my hand and just kind of, if you have a Ragavan, I'm going to kill it with the Lightning Bolt, untap it, play a Consider, and pray to God I have another land. If I don't, then I'm probably losing the game. But it is, like, if you're on the play, you don't really want to have in these grindy matchups an already established card disadvantage by having mulligans.
Yeah, that's true. But also the worst thing that can happen to you in a grindy control matchup, let's say like this one, is that you start just losing your land drops and not being able to cast your spells. Because from both...
Doesn't look good.
Yeah, from both sides, there are 2-for-1s all over the top. Kolaghan's Command, Snapcaster Mage from one side, something like the Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Scams, and other things from the other side. So the mulligans are not as punished as usually.
I've seen Scam decks keeping one land and kind of functioning at the same time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
They definitely can.
They do have that luxury.
Yeah. Because, as we said, 4/4 Fury on turn 1 is just great. It will close up the game.
Man.
Yeah. A hard mulligan decision for the Scam player. Trying to see into the future and trying to...
peer into depths.
Yeah, peer into the abyss, maybe.
And we see a turn 1 Nile Spellbomb.
Yeah,
Right.
so this is
not what you want to see if you're a scam kind of guy.
Scammy kind of guy.
Yeah.
But if there is a Ragavan on the other side, and we know there is a no land situation on the Grixis side, might be dicey.
Dicey, spicy. He probably did have a scam move, but with the Nile Spellbomb on the board, he doesn't no longer have that option.
Yeah, I see 2 Fables in hand, probably also 2 lands, and just a land and pass. And the second land.
And the second
is
land
just
for the control matchup. Now this is where you want to be, probably.
Yeah. This is
where you
play
feel
the
very
game.
comfortable. Just lean back a little bit.
It's like,
play the game.
I have a counter spell, I have a Nile Spellbomb. What can possibly go wrong?
This is a moment where you ask the judge, what time, how much to the end of the round? Let's see. I'm going to win. I just need some time, man. I'm joking, obviously. You never know. In Modern, you think you have it, you really don't. And you're considering the top card of your library.
Something that is
goes,
not...
Oof.
Jace the Mind Sculptor on the top, this must go on.
And this is such a sad moment where you have one-offs, Jace the Mind Sculptor, that you can't bring back from the graveyard to your hand. You're not going to see Jace for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Only in the graveyard. I mean, if you look at the graveyard, you can see it.
Now, this is an interesting...
Yeah, no land drop, third land drop for the other side.
Third land drop from the other side, 2 Fables in hand, 2 counterspells in the other hand.
Let's see.
Can
one Fable be resolved?
Is it
still, probably no.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
an expert.
I'm not an oracle, but
wrong land pitched.
Yeah.
But is it still the case that Screw beats Flood?
Screw will beat Flood if you have cards necessary to do it. But 3 lands are not Flood, right? Probably. What do you consider a Flood on the Scam side of things? Would you consider like 5 lands is too much? You don't want to have 5 lands.
Yeah, no, definitely.
4?
This is 4 is
okay. Like you do want to hard cast those Furies and Griefs, but not immediately.
That's
probably.
late game.
Lately.
Yeah, but what I was referring to is more the Screw side from the Grixis player.
Yeah. But,
now,
with another counterspell in hand, probably feels confident. Might be wrong. Especially the control matchups really love when you just over tap for one spell.
Yeah, of course.
Being countered.
Counter the next one. No land still. Well, now this is
Now
starting
this is
to be a
spicy.
problem.
No,
Yeah.
this is not where you want to be.
Do you crack Denial Spellbomb and pray for a land?
I think you probably dash Ragavan or something like that, and just develop that mana.
Yeah.
Like,
on other terms.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my own mana.
Yeah. With blackjacks
and the other parts.
Yes. And treasures.
Yeah.
You have all the answers in your hand. So there is I have seen Brazen Borrower, probably also something else. Oh, Undying Malice. A card that we do not want.
And
neither for
this
your
is
deck.
a treasure.
Yeah, this is a treasure. The green
For
treasure.
the viewers. Reference. It's not a card in your hand.
Yeah. So you still have a Lightning Bolt open. There is a Brazen Borrower. All the cards, all the tools needed in the hand of the Grixis player. Only thing missing is the lands.
Yeah. For the Grixis side of things, he probably prays for a land and grief, but passing a turn is probably better.
Oh, third land
And
is
a Spire
huge.
Bluff Canal, that's a good land to have right now.
Yes, but do you still just pass?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe you play a Ragavan, but I don't think... I mean, you do have 4 mana. He probably wants the Snapcaster to counterspell.
Yeah, sure. And we see here, or Snapcaster to consider maybe.
Yeah,
also.
if he doesn't play anything, sure, I would like to consider some options.
This is an interesting development from the scam side, because we see the fourth land is a tapped land, and this is the second red source.
Yeah.
There are some
spicy things coming, and we have another land drop. Good.
Now this is enough lands.
I don't want to have any more lands right now.
3 damage coming across. Brazen Borrower being just a solid beat down.
Yeah, I love that card.
So Blackleaf Cliffs untapped. No play on the third turn for the Scam's player. 2 mana gets them a Dauthi Voidwalker, which will probably just die.
Well, maybe being countered, maybe being killed.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
also.
But the thing about this matchup is Scam is just really a mid-range deck. If an opponent has a Nile Spellbomb on board, it's just kind of like I'm gonna play a 5 mana Fury. I'm gonna play a 4 mana Grief. I'm gonna play a.
This is just those cards are enough on their own.
Exactly.
They
and
do not
this is what you have
have
a
to be
Thoughtseize and an Inquisition of God. Like you can play Magic without the Scam part of things,
Yeah. This is the flexibility of the scam deck. Just can go fast, can go long, can have things in the sideboard just go over the top. One thing that pops to mind is something like Turach Dread Cantor, or just the plethora of also their own Kolaghan's commands, and so back and so forth. Now 3 damage just
another
3
damage into the face.
And terminate, just a plain old terminate on the Brazen Borrower. It's fine. It did its job. 6 damage.
Just diverting the attention of a terminate is not a bad place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Grixis side of things have some beaters. Also, I don't like is that creeping tar pit. It's cute, it's fancy, but it's also cheesy, and you probably cannot afford. With a 20 lands main deck, one of them going enter the battlefield tap.
That's fine.
These are the ones. The thing about one-offs is that you can afford any number of them in any capacity, but one is probably we have a good Magic player telling us like Brad Nelson or someone, he would probably tell you don't play tar pit and also don't play your deck. Play something playable. But it works, I guess.
The thing about one-offs is that they're extremely good when they're good and extremely bad when they're bad.
Yeah,
something
there
like
are matchups you cannot win. Probably a burn matchup is horrible.
Yeah, imagine that the second land of the game was a creeping tar pit for this player. You have to keep it from your consider, and you cannot win the game because the first enchantment would not be countered. Probably the second one as well, because you are late on development of the board, and this is Seasoned Pyromancer getting countered by Snap. counterspell
Yeah,
as intended.
the good old Snapcaster days.
There is still a treasure. There is still an uncorrect Nile Spellbomb. This Nile Spellbomb just working overtime and saying just, hey, I'm here. Don't you dare scam me.
Yeah.
I have the technology.
And this Ragavan is just praying not to be fatal pushed.
I mean, if it does, do you even care?
Fine. Yeah.
If I am the Grixis player, I don't care that this just got a card out. Snapcaster Mage getting in for 2. The Grixis side smelling blood, wanted to get this over with. Another land from the Scam side, and seeing what is left in my deck. Now, an abundance of swamps, really pretty swamps from the secret layer or whatever they are on the other side. So, impending blood moon maybe.
Or one can imagine by just, fetching basics. He's going to hardcast something big.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to paint himself too low because Bolt Snap Bolt is a thing in this deck.
Yeah. So this might be something like Kolaghan's Command in response to the trigger. Maybe.
I honestly don't know. Let's find out.
I
doubt it will be resolved, but if it is, that would be huge. Oh, he decided. Yeah, it's a correct thing to do.
Definitely.
Well, here, let it resolve.
Yeah, okay. And those are some shiny cards.
We
do not see any one of them.
We will find out soon what is being discarded, I think.
I do believe I see Kolaghan's Command, and it is the target. There is another
one, of course.
Yeah, so Kolaghan's Command.
This is where you expose yourself to being scammed.
And but you still have the Nile Spellbomb, which you can just crack without drawing a card.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of discrepancy. Does this grief enter the battlefield? Will this Nile Spellbomb be cracked? No, just a Dreadbore.
And he kept the Kolaghan? No, I don't know what is the other card.
Ragavan.
Tapped land.
Brazen Borrower.
Brazen Borrower is maybe an adventuring? No. No.
This was returned. I do believe this was returned from the Kolaghan's Command.
Ooh, good hit. The Fury, if it was Fury being drawn right now, that would be an incredibly bad situation for the Grixis side of things.
And this is one of the feel bads when you're playing against Ragavan. Mm-hmm. They get your best card from the top of the deck, and you built your deck, and you know that if you have drawn this card, you would just decimate their board or win, and now it's in the clutches of Ragavan.
So you want to say not knowing is part of the fun?
Probably. 4 damage being dealt to the Snapcaster Mage, just obliterating the poor guy.
Yeah. Now this is where the tides have turned, I believe.
I do believe there is a 5 to 14 with an active Brazen Borrower in hand, and if you ask me, you just deploy the Brazen Borrower and bash in, you get your opponent to 2. Now, there is a lot of things on the other side, but you have a 2-turn clock. And probably 1-turn clock if this is a lightning bolt. And
we do cards being in hand on the Scam side of things. This is... maybe I'm wrong, but this is a little bit in the favor of the Greek side of things, but we'll see what he drawn.
Expressive Iteration is probably the best one.
The best thing you could have right now. Probably.
Yeah.
Let's see the top 3 cards.
Land, Expressive Iteration, land. So
it's not a lightning bolt, I presume. Otherwise, it was already being featured. But no,
it's an Expressive Iteration.
Let's put the exiled land and then being played.
Do not shuffle your library because there is a land card on the bottom that you do not want to draw. Exactly. We are professional Magic players.
Sometimes, not all, never the times.
Another Expressive Iteration. Come on, where's the ball? There's the ball, the first one, and this is a 2-1.
Cool.
This is a great match. This is an extremely good match that we have witnessed right now. Grixis control telling us it is possible, play your deck that you want. There are tools, you just have to accustom your deck to your metagame and customize it against it.
And also, you just gotta break your back by building sideboard. It's too much overthinking. Like, what are the cards? What is it? Like,
sideboard is extremely, extremely important in today's day modern.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching. Don't go anywhere. We will be soon with you with more MTG modern content.
Thank you guys for coming and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.